Welcome to Fishbowl Sports, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Bear. How you doing today, Bear? Yeah, so polar opposite of what's going on like here in Louisiana right now. But I mean, like it's gonna warm up a little bit over here, so hopefully everything is good on that regard, Bear. So what you think about this? Let's talk about LSU women's basketball because they have the biggest thing going on right now in LSU sports. The NCAA tournament. I mean, two seed. I mean, we were talking about it last week. We thought three or two seed. I thought personally it would have been probably a two seed because of their resume and schedule, and that's what the committee went with. What you thought about this so far for LSU women's basketball, and how deep of a run do you think they could possibly make in this NCAA tournament? They so basically here, they get their first two games at home though, so that's a good thing for them.
But then you got to play the winner out of Villanova or Texas Tech. I mean, that's we game teams like these like this. I mean, that's kind of been their struggles this year.
I
Both
mean,
of these
it's
Villanova and Texas Tech are both really tough teams. I mean, they play hard, they rebound well, and that's not something that LSU's mo. So they could be in trouble.
it just depends on like if LSU can limit their turnovers, and they can rebound well. That's been the two things, their Achilles heel, if you will, of LSU women's basketball this year. That's you got that win there. They'll probably win 2 days from now against Jacksonville. Like they're a 15 seed, LSU the 2 seed. They should win this one. Villanova and Texas Tech, you do get the advantage of being at home, and that home crowd should help LSU out a good bit. You play a little bit better on at home anyway than you do on the road, like you should anyway. But you kind of coming up with the cross of you're gonna end up getting Nebraska, Baylor, Charleston, or Duke. Duke's probably coming out of that. Duke or Baylor, I would say. Those would be my two there that would end up coming out that side that LSU will end up going with here.
This is extremely. They did not get favors by getting stuck in the.
Yeah, this is kind of honestly to me this is the prove me bracket, to be honest. Um
They would have been better off getting stuck in the fourth. I
yeah, with you think with UConn and Vanderbilt,
mean,
or are you talking about the Fort Worth bracket with Michigan and Texas?
two forward. I mean, Michigan's the two, and now, but I'm just looking. I'm looking at the other teams that are in it because you're gonna eventually meet. Like if no matter what bracket you'd have been in, they would have met up with Texas or Kentucky. They lost to twice or no once and beat them the second time. Michigan State, like you would have ended up probably in the Sweet 16 against those teams anyway. But the bracket, I'm just looking at the brackets overall, and theirs is probably by far the toughest one out of the four brackets because a lot of these teams in like Ole Miss is in this bracket, but a lot of these teams in this bracket are basically do things better than what LSU LSU does. They
Yeah.
rebound. They play hard. So, and LSU, they struggle with foul trouble. And at times they can play pretty soft and get out rebounded. I mean, look at the South Carolina game. That the whole them leading the rebounds at half. They had, what was it, a 4-point lead, 6-point lead, and then they got out rebounded plus 10 in the second half, and it turned into a 16-point swing, and it cost them the game by 6 points.
Yeah.
So like I said, these teams, and this is probably the toughest. This is probably the worst case scenario for them. I mean, I don't think they're gonna make it past the Sweet 16.
Which would be, I think that would be Kim Mulkey's worst year at LSU, or is it the? I think she made round of 30. I think she had a round of 32 exit one year.
Yeah.
If I maybe I'm trying to remember like what year that was.
Round of 32 exit, because Villanova, Texas Tech, this is not. You obviously want to play Villanova because it's the lower seed, but honestly, either one of these could honestly, if LSU comes out and dominates the first half, but then struggles in the second half because they get in foul trouble and have to start playing soft. Like, either one of these two teams can beat you. Is the scary part. And if not, then you got to play Duke in the Sweet 16, and you beat them early in the year, but there's no guarantee that you're going to beat them now.
Yeah, I'm thinking like it's the turnovers that bother me with this team. I think
Yeah,
that's kind of more than the rebounding, right? Um, because you lose possessions in a game whenever you lose turnovers. I know that's like common sense, obviously, but when you lose turnovers, you give other teams opportunities, and you can't give other teams opportunity whenever you get into the cream of the crop. Every team in this tournament is the cream of the crop, and they're going to be playing very well against you, and you're going to bring your A game to beat them. So that's going to be a very tough out for LSU women's basketball because if you're having like the turnovers, we talk about the rebounding, like being really critical of this team right now, just because like every flaw that you have is going to get exposed in this tournament.
yeah,
It has happened time and time again, and it will happen every single year up until the tournament doesn't exist anymore. Like
yeah. And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, you also got to look at it like this too. Like, you lose possessions on turnovers because it gives them a chance to fast break for everything else. But if you get in foul trouble and you start getting out rebounded, now those you're giving them second chance points. Whereas you have to play soft, so then because you're in foul trouble, they start gaining more possessions on second chance points because you're not playing as hard on the boards as
Yeah.
you would like, kind of deal. So it basically increases your chances exponentially of losing.
Yeah. Like if you lose that intensity, like you say, playing soft, and that could very well come to bite this LSU women's basketball team. We've seen it happen with South Carolina. They had a good number of fouls coming out of that thing, out of the first half, and then it hurt them in the second half. And we could very well see that come into play toward this NCAA tournament here. So I'm thinking that could pose a huge issue for LSU. This is just stuff that we could see happen here, and it could very well happen in this tournament here. First round game, I think LSU. I think they win. I think they win the first round game. Second round game, I will go with them winning it, but it's a caveat there. I think it could potentially be very bad. It's a bad matchup. I think Bear. I think you are correct in it being a very bad matchup for them. Whether it is Texas Tech or Villanova, I think it's just going to be one of those that we're just going to have to wait and see what exactly happens with that there. So, with that being said, I think I don't see them getting out of the Sweet 16. I think that's really their cap of this team this year. What's
Yeah.
it, what you think? You think they make it to the Elite Eight or anything above
No,
that or?
no. If you just, I'm gonna be nice because I'm I'm being nice now, but it's not being nice. When we get to LSU baseball, the gloves are coming off. So I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt of them getting to the Sweet 16. But that's about where that's probably their ceiling, because I don't. Yes, like I said, you beat Duke earlier in the year, but you also struggled in that game. It was a neutral site game. You know, both teams were away from home. You still struggle. You still beat them, but you still struggle to beat them because of the whole, foul trouble. Couldn't rebound, and like I said, but this is not the same Duke team that you beat in the beginning of the season. So they're obviously better. I don't see them getting past the Sweet 16.
So I do like this little image that they pulled up here. Oh, let's see if I save this right here. Oh, that's an AVIF file. I don't need to save that. But anyway, so yeah, LSU and Jacksonville, they play at 6 o'clock on Friday, in first round of. So I'm trying to see when the second round. Let's see, second round game's gonna get underway March 22nd through the 23rd. So that's gonna be your second round games there. So that's kind of what's going on there. So I think so. Is this someone filled out this bracket, or was this last year? Oh, that's a 2025 bracket. I was like, wait, what happened? Okay.
Like all of this bracket kicks off on the 20th, and there's two on the 21st, and then
Well, Nebraska, they won their first. They won the first four game. They won that one. Missouri State and Stephen F. Austin playing ESPN2 at, I think it's all Eastern time, so it's like 9. So it'd be 10 o'clock tonight. When that one tips off on ESPN2. If you're up late and you can't sleep, they do have some games there. Tomorrow they got two more games for the NCAA tournament as well. Southern U versus Sanford, and Virginia versus Arizona State.
Missouri State, they're playing right now. Those are the playing games. So Nebraska got in on the playing,
Yeah.
and and it really doesn't matter who wins this game. LSU's in trouble either way. I mean, like Texas State, Villanova.
If you want to scout.
Nebraska may possibly have a chance to set Baylor, but
I think Baylor beats them though. I'm gonna go with that there.
yeah,
Yeah,
guess they had the RPI to back it up.
yeah. So,
Just looking at
which is, yeah, that's typically what the committee does anyway. I mean, they just see what
like
happens with that there.
they don't wins and losses basically don't really mean anything anymore. Current college, yeah,
All right, so we're gonna switch gears here. So Bear, you've had some people upset with you. Let me go move this ticker down so people can.
they
You you were saying they were getting.
seems the cancer and he's like the Captain Poppy. Okay, I was like, okay, this gets out the way. Like the LSU Texas A&M.
The Texas A&M last year. You think LSU baseball is dead right now? I'm not ready to go like fall off the cliff here, but I think I am kind of getting close to it.
It's time to take the gloves off. It's time to start getting the more years better they play.
I hope it works out for them there. But look, so they got the series against Oklahoma in Baton Rouge. Their next couple is their Oklahoma and Kentucky series are at home in Baton Rouge, so they need to win one of these series here. And the Kentucky one's probably the more likely one out of Oklahoma and Kentucky, and the Tennessee one right after that one. So, but I feel like one of those two series are like basically not a really like they have to win one of them. I think they're kind of not. I don't want to say must win because it feels like kind of like that, but it kind of feels like a must win series. I hate to use that word because a lot of people say that there because you want to give momentum to your team and stuff. And if they drop both these series against Oklahoma and Kentucky, then we're having a whole different conversation in the beginning part of April. Because I always said wait till the beginning first week of April, and then you kind of figure out where your baseball club is going to be at here. And we're up at that point because we got 2 weeks basically left to figure out what LSU is actually going to do here. They lost the series to Vanderbilt. They gave up a lot of runs in that series. Even in the win, they gave up 9 runs. They gave up 13, obviously, on the Friday. Did better Saturday. I know Juicy was vouching for Schmidt, Uh,
He's the guy. He right now he's your best. He's your best arm out of the three starters you have.
so, to give like a little bit of solace to LSU fans here, let's go look at the RPI right now. As I said, LSU's 15-7. Their RPI right now is not looking good, but that's gonna go up because of the fact they're playing SEC teams. And then, well,
It's all day, every day, because that's bad the bullpen is.
and you know what? I think that's the caveat of the transfer portal. Jay Johnson, he does use the portal a good bit, and some of these portal guys, they've been in slumps. For last 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks of the whole season.
Yeah. And sometimes you just straight up missing the portal. That's why I think these coaches need to find some kind of balance with it. Don't lean too much on the portal. Unless you're absolutely dull, like you're just way down there at the bottom of the barrel. LSU wasn't bottom of the barrel last year, obviously. But if you're looking at RPI teams, what this team has done, LSU baseball, it's kind of interesting here. So 4 of LSU's losses go to RPI teams that are 101 through 200.
Yeah, that's quadrant 4.
That's shocking if you think about it. Like that compared to if you look at between 1 through 25, 26 through 50, they're 3-1. Riddle me that one. That one loss I think was to the Cajuns. I think that's where that loss came from. And
Yeah.
the one through 50 basically. Yeah. Speaking of which, they playing tonight. I want to see if they won real quick, guys. Give me a second here, but
They are ranked number 1.
yeah, I know they were close. Let's see. Did they get it done yet? Let me check.
Like I said, the bullpen is a cancer on this team, and thanks to whoever called me out, Captain Obvious. Okay, like LSU's Texas A&M of last year, we had no pitching. Which granted, last year A&M did have some injuries, but that still doesn't deny the fact the injuries that they had wasn't.
We got a tie game.
Their key pitching.
We have a tie game between Houston and the Cajuns, 3-3 right now on the road. Top of the ninth. I've been trying to I was trying to hold off on the show. I was like, come on, man, I want to try to finish this game, but I couldn't. So, I was watching it. I saw you all playing very well in that game. So, it's kind of being a pitcher's duel right now for sure. 3-3, top of the ninth. Houston's a good ball club too this year, so it's gonna be. It was a fun game to watch as far as I could. LSU strength of schedule is not good, 195 on the year. I mean that's kind of where you're at right now, but all that is gonna go down because you're in SEC play and you're playing better competition, which is scary. Interesting enough though, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the series against Oklahoma. So that will be something to keep an eye on. How do you view this series happening? Did they get the win against Grambling Bear? Do you think they can beat Oklahoma?
No, I'm going to get
You're going with a sweep.
going with a sweep. Yeah. You come on this way.
So I'm gonna say this though. Baseball is a very weird sport with the way that a switch can just light up and you can completely turn your team around. I don't think that's gonna happen this weekend. I think LSU does lose this series, but I'm not gonna go with a sweep. I'm gonna go conservative. I'm gonna go. I think they lose the series and they drop 2 out of 3 until I can see some consistency from LSU here. I mean, they did beat Grambling, but Grambling isn't that good of a team this year, so they're on a 2 game winning streak to kind of like be a little bit positive here. I just don't see it. It's just got to be. They might get a get right series against Kentucky. I think they will beat Kentucky in a series. Uh, Louisiana Tech is usually pretty good at Louisiana teams are always good. LSU been losing to Louisiana teams this year, so I think that
Hang on.
LSU baseball will lose a series against uh, Oklahoma this weekend. So to move things along here, let's start talking about LSU softball here. And it's a doozy, man. They got a loss. They lost a series to Texas A&M. Then they got South Carolina. Their RPI is fantastic, by the way. They're 14th in the RPI, but they're literally 4-9 against the top 50 of RPI teams so far this year. Everybody 51 on back, they're perfect. So that
Yeah,
kind
that's
of tells you the schedule. The good competition's coming in, and they're 19-9, and they're dropping games. They probably will drop more games as we go along here. So how you feel about LSU and South Carolina this year? This series. Do you think they
well.
get the win?
Not very. I think they're very good this year.
They're 20-10 on the year so far. If you're looking for, I'm gonna pull up their RPI number real quick here because this thing changes here. We're gonna talk more about RPI because it's getting more important in this part of the year, for sure. Because you gotta,
Okay. Yeah, like I said, going. I think Jason, it's going to make things like very like the he didn't move him in the rotation.
so,
I think there's anybody else you can replace him with the fifth end to be the third scorer, but
so what you think about LSU softball, Bear, versus South Carolina?
what the way I think Carolina's doing the same as us. I mean, we should win this series.
So strength of schedule is 21 for South Carolina. They're 2-9 against top 50 RPI teams. So the softball team should win this series. They're 31. Their RPI is 31. They should beat South Carolina. They got swept this past weekend. Now, Grant, they got swept. They didn't get swept this past week. My bad. They played Boston College. They're 0-3 in the SEC. They got swept by Texas, which is a good team this year, defending national champions, obviously. So, um, but 1-5. It's not the way you want to start SEC play if you're LSU here. So you got to get back right. You got to try to get a sweep against South Carolina. Really get yourself really good there. Then you got Louisiana Tech and then Oklahoma. Like I said, this is gonna be really tough for you. So you got to basically win this series on the road. So that's gonna be tough there. I think LSU softball takes 2 out of 3 here, but I just don't. I'm not very confident about it because they are very much not doing too hot this year. Got swept by Tennessee. They had a lead in the final game against Tennessee, and they let that slip through their fingers. Texas A&M, they never really had a chance, except they ended up winning on Sunday at home. But losing a series at home is not a good look at all. So, um,
You're like, what are we doing here?
There's only so much you can do as a pitcher, though, too. I mean, like that, you got to have the defense behind you to back you up, too.
Yeah, you're hitting. I mean, we're hitting 264 as a team. That's not. I mean, opponent. I mean, opponent. Right now, our opponent's ERA is 5.6. Right. We're at a 2.96 ERA. Opponents are hitting 2.6.
This is gonna be a. I think they're gonna make a regional just because of who they played. I don't think they're a regional caliber team this year. I just don't see it with LSU this year.
I mean, our fielding is the one completely out there.
But it's like they're not hitting that well though. I mean, they're getting dominated by like regional caliber teams.
Yeah.
Like the cassette. So like I know people are gonna probably come at me like Chief, you said though that the Cajuns are a regional team. Yes, but they're inconsistent. When the Cajuns are good, they are a regional team. When they're bad, they're just bad. They're awful. When LSU, when they've played, they haven't had any significant wins this year, really. If you want to bring up significant wins into the category here. So let's talk about significant wins that they had this year. It's not much if you want to get at it that way. I mean, their biggest win might be Oklahoma State. I mean, they beat Michigan State twice. Um,
Yeah. So Oklahoma State, but you lost
A
everyone.
A and M maybe A&M on that Monday, but I mean you lost the series, so it doesn't like. I know that they beat the Cajuns. They're 2-1, but that was at home. I mean Michigan State. I don't. I'm trying
Well,
to. I mean they're 500 this year, so I mean it's not like it's.
you got an OPS of 5. What you doing here?
So I'm look. Oklahoma State. They're 2-4 in the Big 12. They're 19-9. That's looking like to be your best win so far this year. I'm looking at NC State to see if they've gotten anything good. They're 19-10. They're 1-2 in the ACC so far this year. So
Yeah.
it's not. There's no like quality wins on this. I mean, I can't even talk about Memphis because they're 7-20, 0-6 in the American. Their best win's A&M, hands down. That like it's 19-9, 2-1.
And it gets worse. You got 50%.
Yeah, it's just not looking good. Like it's just one of those that you're just like, okay, what's going on? Like they haven't really beaten anybody worth talking about. It's not. It's just the facts of what we saw. I mean, they're gonna have opportunities to get caliber wins, you know, high caliber wins, but it's just not there for them right now. And I'd be lying to y'all if I said that. They're like this. Like they're gonna have Oklahoma come. They're gonna have Oklahoma at home. That would be a huge series win if they can get that one. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn. They did get some like favored like conference schedule, but
Yeah.
I mean
Even if you look,
we'll see what happens. But I mean like man, this is gonna be kind of a rough road to hoe basically. So
I mean, you've already given up 17 home runs on the season as far as pitching goes. You've given up 17 home runs as a team already. We're not even halfway. We're not even a quarter of the way through the season.
yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. That's just
Tell you what else to say about it. That's got to go.
that's got to go. Like that's I mean it's looking like that way. Unless they could turn it around. I mean.
We've given up. Pitching has run. Pitching has been opponent has 137 earned run. Like, the numbers speak for themselves. This team at this rate, huh? Your quality wins right now is what? Yeah. And two Michigan State wins and a UL win. Like, this team at this point, I don't even think they're making a regional with that kind of.
Yeah, I don't think they're a regional team. I'm saying that right now. I'm trying to figure out how they're still ranked. That's the one thing that eludes me. Like, they're not a top 25 team.
They're not.
I think they're ranked 18th, I think, but they're not worthy of being a top 25 team. And I'm gonna end it like that. I mean, the episode like that. Sorry guys, but I mean
No.
that's facts. Anyway, so thank y'all for listening to this episode here of Fishbowl Sports. We're gonna catch y'all next week as we'll see if LSU wins basketball, how well they did in the NCAA tournament. Hopefully they progress, and we can talk about them next week. Up to that point. Um, LSU baseball, LSU softball. We'll be back here with the latest here as we go look through all their schedule wins, and we'll keep an eye on that RPI and see where everything's going with their teams here. Anything you want to say before we get off the air here, Bear?
Things get better. Get better. Because
Well, we'll see what happens. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a very wonderful night. We'll see you here next time here on Fishbowl Sports. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.
good night.